Hey everyone, today I'm coming to you with a review on the brand new Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Deluxe Groot figure. Now I did get this guy at GameStop Canada, paid around $50, which I do think is a fair price for what you get. And what you do get here, I really like. I think this is easily the best Marvel Legends Groot that we have gotten, and I absolutely love the more bulky design. We're so used to getting just a very slim and skinny Groot, which certainly that is awesome. I love Groot like that. I'm just really excited to see what this Groot design does in the movie, especially with these, obvious wings that we have on this Groot. I'm really interested to see how those play into the movie. But without further ado, I do have a lot to say on this figure, so let's get into the review for the brand new Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I am Groot. Now, as always, before I get into the figure, I do want to start off with the packaging for this guy. He is in kind of a standard Marvel Legends Deluxe packaging design. On the front, we have a rendered image of the figure, along with little baby Rocket. I love that accessory. Groot's name up top, Marvel Legends series logo. We also have a concept art image of Groot behind the rendered image of the figure. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 logo, Hasbro plastic repackaging, 4+, don't choke. On this side, we have another concept art image of the character. I love that pose, and I love how the wings look. I'm really excited to see what those do in the movie. There we have the brand new ship from the new Guardians movie, along with the cosmos behind the Groot. Marvel Legends down below. On the back, we have another rendered image of the Groot, along with his accessories being the wings, an extra set of fists, along with Baby Rocket, 7.48 inches and 19 centimeters for his measurements. Bunch of legalese on the bottom, Marvel Legends and Groot there. On this side, we have another render of the figure, kind of just a vanilla pose with Baby Rocket once again. On the top, we have the Guardians logo. Down below, we have a bunch more legalese, plastic repackaging, and the price at GameStop Canada. But other than that, that's all that I have to say for the packaging. So let's get into the Groot figure himself. Here we have the Groot along with all of his accessories being an extra set of fists, Baby Rocket, and I guess you could consider the wings to be an accessory. Now, of course, I do want to start off here with the Baby Rocket. I absolutely love this thing. There isn't that much to it. It is just one mold, but what you do get here works well enough for Baby Rocket, at least from what I've seen in the trailers, although I wish we would have gotten maybe a different pose of this character in the Rocket figure itself. As I mentioned in that video, you get very little accessories, only a gun, so something like this, or even just this exact same thing, would have been a nice inclusion. For the hands included with this Groot, you do get a set of open hands or clawing hands, whatever you want to call them. We've always gotten things like this with the Groot, but this is the first time we are getting fists with Groot, and oh boy, am I happy to have fists, especially with this beefy, brawly, just overall, I'm going to say Jack Groot. I love that we do get these fists, and I think I'll have them displayed with these. You do have a little bit of additional green paint on there, which definitely does bring out a little bit more sculpt, although I imagine a little bit more brown paint or something like that would also bring out the sculpt a little bit more. On this hand, more of the same, although you don't, oh no, you do have that same paint right there. I love how it looks exactly like a tree stump or whatnot on the tips of the fingers. On this side, you do have a little bit more of that green paint, but not much more going on for the hands. For the wings on this Groot, they are pretty big overall, although you can take them off if you do want. They do just peg in with kind of a unique style of peg, so you can't peg that into other things if you did want. It'd be kind of interesting to see like teenage Groot with these, or even just the adult Groot. That is besides the point, though. You do have that same paint that is on the hands and the rest of the figure on these wings, and in the box, it did come like so. It did come out like this, so it was packaged like this, but that does just go in, and like you just saw, it does stay in pretty well. It was pretty hard to take out. Other than that, there is a lot of detail here. I'm not going to go over each and every branch, as we would be here all day. On the back side, more of that detail does continue, and right there, it kind of all meets in the center for this little hump, or whatever you want to call it, that does just pour in on the back of the figure, and that does fit like butter and is molded to go with the back of the figure. And as far as that goes, I think these wings look absolutely phenomenal. Now, with all the accessories out of the way, we can focus on the Groot figure itself. Now, I do want to start off here with the head sculpt as per usual. I love what we have going on here. The sculpt is amazing, as it is on the rest of the figure, but I love the expression that we have on there. It is using a little bit of photoreal, and he has just a little kind of, I don't know how to describe it, just a happy or even stoic expression from this side, which I think is fitting for this Groot. It would have been nice to get an extra head where he was angry, but I'm still happy to get this nonetheless. You do have that same green paint that is on the rest of the figure, as I already showed. On the top, there you have what it looks like. I love that. Just looks exactly like a tree, which, hey, that is exactly what he's supposed to be. Other than that, though, you do have the same design going on to the legs. Same green design, or green paint rather, that is spread out on this figure. But like I said, some brown paint would be so awesome on this figure. I did mention that like black wash on a lot of the figures in this wave, or not, well, I guess you could say in this wave, would look really well, but I do think the best paint apps that you could add to any of the figures in this Guardians 3 Marvel Legends release is on this Groot. Some brown paint would be so amazing, just to get in all the little crevices. The sculpt on here is unmatched. I really do think it is the best Groot that we have gotten in the line, especially with those, as I mentioned. This right here is certainly interesting. I don't know what exactly is going on there. Definitely something of note. Now, another thing I did want to mention is you do have these shoulder pads here, which kind of do have that same style of articulation as like a Black Series shoulder pauldron. You do have the ability to move them full 360, I believe. Yes, you can do that, although it does kind of get in the way. Definitely do want to be careful with those still nonetheless. But yeah, other than that, just take this in. This sculpt is really amazing. I don't think me talking or saying anything about it will really do it justice. I do think this is probably one of the best, if not the best, Guardians 3 figures that has been released with all of these this year. Other than that, though, I think that's all I have to say for this guy. So let's get into the articulation for Groot himself. Now, as for the articulation on this Groot, it is really, really good for a figure of this size. The head does go forward that much. Back, a little bit of tilt, full 360. It is on the older style of head joint, so definitely keep that in mind. Arms go up that much. Down, you can go full 360 on paper, but I'm not going to do that as it does kind of get in the way with a few things here. Bicep swivel, full 360. Single jointed elbows go in this much. You don't get any rotation, though, at least from what I can see a little bit, although not really anything to be considered as movement. Hands go up this much, down, full 360 on both sides. They both have a horizontal hinge. Ab crunch goes forward a decent amount. Back, wow, even more. Side, wow. Side, wow, I'm very impressed with that. Full 360, of course, and then there is the full range with that ab crunch movement and the head articulation as well. I am very impressed with the articulation on the ab crunch. The legs, however, do kick forward that much. Back, not at all, because those big ol' I am Groot tree stumps, let's call them, do get in the way. Legs go to the sides this much for splits. Upper thigh cut. Double jointed, single jointed knees that do have a little bit of rotation, and that does go just in like so, and that sculpt fits so well. Same thing on this side, it is very similar. And then the ankles go up, down, and beautiful ankle rocker pivot. That is just so satisfying to me. First, for comparisons with this Deluxe Groot, here we have him next to all the other Guardians in the main wave in the same costume, along with the Cosmo Build-A-Figure, and of course the Baby Rocket that is included with this Groot figure. Next up here we have the Groot next to the Gamora from the Volume 2 Mantis Build-A-Figure wave, along with Kraglin and Adam Warlock. Both are from the main Volume 3 wave. Next up here, we have arguably the most important comparison, being the Deluxe Volume 3 Groot and Baby Rocket, of course, next to the Teenage Groot from the Love and Thunder wave, along with the Adult Groot single-released figure. And lastly, for comparisons with this Volume 3 Deluxe Groot, here we have him next to a standard Bucky Cap-bodied figure, more specifically being the Adam Warlock from the Volume 2 Mantis Build-A-Figure wave, along with a Thanos Infinity War figure from the First 10 Years 3-pack. Now, as for my final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Groot figure, I gotta say, I really like this thing. I think it is easily the best Groot figure that we've gotten ever in the Marvel Legends line, and I just think it is probably one of the best figures that we have gotten this year in general. I really like this thing. The sculpting is amazing, the wings are awesome, and of course, the Baby Rocket is a great addition. And yes, you are paying a little bit more than a normal Marvel Legends figure, as this is a deluxe, but I think that is perfectly just for what you are getting. This is a bulky figure, and it feels really heavy, especially when you just pick it up in store. But yeah, I only have positive things to say. I really don't have any gripes. Now, for my rating of this figure, I might say it. I might do it. While I do wish there was a little bit more brown wash and paint, I think I'm going to give this guy a very high rating of a 9.8. My only real gripe, like I just said, is maybe a little bit more paint. But that being said, this is such a good figure. I can't stress that enough. But as always, let me know what you think of this guy in the comments down below. Are you going to get him? Are you not? Do you like him? Do you not? As always, start a conversation, and I will try my best to respond. But until my next video, I have, of course, been Jagger Collector. I am Groot, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.
We are Groot.